Last year, my friend Alan, my wife Emma, and myself hiked into a canyon in southern Nevada to find out what remained of the old mining camp of the Uncle Sam mine. It was a success. We surveyed the area, found the information we needed, and Alan has since published it in his book, now available on his site. I published the video a couple weeks ago, and it received far more interest than I ever anticipated. Usually, my videos about ghost towns take almost a year to reach only 10,000 views, but this one shot up past 1 million in the first few weeks. The video was made with my usual audience in mind and cut down for time, but there were a lot of requests to see more, and that's what we're going to be doing today. First and foremost, we're going to be looking at the mine. I see structures down there. Quite a bit, actually. Like more than just your usual abandoned mine. Looks like it was abandoned and then not touched for a very long time, so we might find some interesting things down there. They blasted the mine on their way out. We're going in there. The mine itself was less important to Alan's book. We did, however, find this entrance to a mine, or at least the start of a prospecting hole. Right in front of it was some sort of foundation of poured concrete. Foundation of something. It's blasted! The goal of the trip was not necessarily to find the mine. We knew the mine existed and, well, there wasn't too much we needed to know about it. But we wanted to see what the camp looked like. We knew that there were buildings there, but we couldn't find them on satellite imagery such as Google Earth. The mine was located a few hundred feet up the creek from the mining camp. And by the way, the yellow that's in the creek was identified by some of the commenters on YouTube as being sulfur. I actually regret cutting down so much of the adventure in the original Alum Creek video. It had enough material to be over an hour. But again, given that most of my ghost town videos usually got the least amount of views of my content, I kept it shorter. But now, let's take a closer look at the town site itself. When looking at the site, we found 5 major structures, all of wood and all collapsed. There is an outhouse near building number 4, and the automobile that was shown in the video is located to the west of the buildings, between buildings 3 and 4. There's also indication of a road that may have gone through the site. To the top left of the screen, there's a junk pile, and we're going to check that out first. Is it a mine? No, it's not. It's a little shack. Not quite a shack, a shed. By the junk pile was a storage shed, and in front of it, lots and lots of rubbish, but little more than tin cans. Starting from the south, building number 1, a small, unidentified structure that was most likely either a hut or storage. There's something here coming out. There's the plumbing. Water would have been piped in here. Moving on to building number 2. This was another building that we couldn't identify with certainty, but it was significantly larger than building number 1. Looks like it might have had a fence, like a railing up right here. A deck. Yeah, this would have been a porch or a deck coming around the side. And this would have been the railing up right here. Window frames and door frame over there. We got some shaped wood over here. A bench, perhaps? It's on the other side. Shelves. Yeah, that would have been shelves. That's the bottom down there, decorative bottom. It would have been upright against the wall. The wall collapsed back. It had shelves, cabinets, and even a porch rail. This appeared to be a bit of a civilized building. Building number 3, right in the middle of the site, had a stovepipe indicating a kitchen. Likely, this was the galley for the miners living and working here. Building number 4, in my opinion, was the most interesting. It had enough wood piled there and had fallen in such a way that it seems to indicate that this was a 2-story building. This one here, there's a lot of wood piled up. Screen doors, there's actually quite a bit of extra screen right over here, but this one has screen doors. Terracotta plumbing. We have a frame for what might have been a water tank or a gas tank. Building number 5 was the most orderly of the ruined piles. It seemed to line up like stacks of matchsticks. At most, this building was a storage shack or a hut for 2 or 3 miners. We have this one, which is quite small, maybe a cabin or a shed. The outhouse by Building 5 was far from usable, tipped over on its side and splintering. There was no indication of a hole having been dug underneath of it, though possibly it was filled in when the camp was abandoned. The automobile, which we believe to be a circa 1930 Ford, has been debated in the comments, with some people assuring it's a 1929 automobile, others saying 1930, and others saying 1931. However, a good number of people mentioned that the wooden body indicates that it might be a Chevy instead of a Ford. While it may appear in the video to have been scrapped for parts, what wasn't shown, and wasn't really even filmed, was that most of the parts of the car, including its engine, were sitting a few dozen feet away. For the most part, the entire car was still present in some form or another within the town site area. There isn't too much else to say about the ruins in the Alum Creek Canyon, but a couple of quick behind-the-scenes notes about the original video. It was really hot and exhausting, but we played up the exhaustion to make the video a bit more fun for my usual viewers. None of us were actually struggling too much with the climb or the heat, and none of us were in any sort of danger. Have you ever been on a tougher?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where?
Well, I've done longer hikes for sure, like 52 miles in Kings Canyon National Park in 3 days. I did a backpack trip when I was in my 50s to Trinity Alps Wilderness to find the mining camp of Old Denny in Marysville. I think it was Marysville.
Oh. Was that hotter than this?
No. It was just about as dry.
We also carried a satellite messenger and locator in case we ran into any sort of trouble. In the original video, we also speculated that perhaps no one has been there since the camp was abandoned, or if anyone did come through, they did so without a trace. This was based on speaking with local landowners, the rangers of the nearby Death Valley Park, archaeologists who worked nearby, local hunters that we knew, and Alan's work in the U.S. Census Bureau. However, of the 1 million plus viewers, it seems that approximately half of them have wanted to debate that, and claim they practically live in that canyon, or they walk through there every day on the way to work. I only believe a fraction of them, but yes, there certainly have been other visitors. It doesn't detract from the remoteness or preservation of the place, however, and visiting there truly felt like we were breaking some sort of ground, and it was a remarkable experience. Believe it or not, most of the stuff we hauled into the canyon was camera and drone equipment. Normally I do have a better backpack with me on these excursions, which you see in some of the other videos, but didn't bring this on a trip because we were limited on what we could bring on our flight from Pennsylvania to Nevada, as this hike was not the only thing on our trip's itinerary. We chose not to camp overnight on this trip, but have more videos in store about sites where we do, and camping in Nevada is always a real treat. I mentioned in the video that if there was interest, I put together a historical video about the hotel that we stayed in Tonopah, the Mizpah Hotel. The video is finished and currently available on my channel. With the amount of people telling us that we should have taken dirt bikes, I do want to mention something that would have made that trip even more enjoyable. We almost acquired horses from one of Alan's friends who lived nearby, but those plans fell through because we couldn't line up the schedules. What also wasn't shown in the video, though, was that significant portions of the trail were completely washed away by landslides and required us walking in single file. Even with a horse or a dirt bike, this might have been quite difficult. Once again, Alan's excellent book that contains the chapter about our hike into Alum Creek Canyon is available on his site, and the link to that is below. It also covers the story of the nearby towns of Palmetto, Sylvania, Pigeon Spring, and Toole Canyon. If you enjoyed this expedition, please be sure to subscribe for more, and check out my Ghost Town playlist in the description below.